Would you like to benefit from a grant or a forgivable loan from the City of Kingston for your next real estate project? Stay tuned, because Kingston is projected to grow from its current 127,000 to 220,000 permanent population within the next 25 years.
So the city has applied for $60 million as part of the Federal Housing Accelerator Fund, announced in March of 2023. With different programs and initiatives, Kingston aims to create 1,400 units a year over the next 4 years.
The city will be allocated $20.7 million out of the $60 million it applied for over the next 3 years. The program takes shape in the form of financial incentives towards the creation of new units and via the revamping of many policies facilitating the implementation of such development.
So the first program is called the Community Improvement Program, CIP Basics. It aims at accelerating the development of multifamily residential of 4 units and more. The program is first composed of a vacant land tax rebate, the VLTR, while the property is under construction, to reduce the cost of capital during the development phase.
The second part is composed of a tax increment equivalent grant, TIEG, providing a grant of a full year of tax rebate over the first 2 years. An additional incentive doubles the grant if the units meet the CMHC definition of affordable, i.e. average CMHC market rent, AMR.
The current AMR for a 1-bedroom unit is $1,329. 90% of that represents a rent of $1,196. The current AMR for a 2-bedroom unit is $1,609, 90% of which represents a rent of $1,448.
The window to proceed is between 2024 to 26. The 2nd May public meeting and the upcoming discussion with City Council on May 7th both aim at implementing the plan by the end of May, early June.
The second program aims at revamping the additional rental unit ARU program. There is already a $15,000 incentive in place, and it's applicable towards the development and construction costs while keeping rent affordable. One of the biggest obstacles for homeowners to benefit from the current incentives is the knowledge gap and complexity of the overall process. Regarding that, a new approach is being looked at to pre-approve modular homes being built as additional detached secondary suites. The pre-approved plan aims at diminishing the friction points for homeowners.
These programs apply to the current city boundaries. It will also facilitate discussion regarding the city 25-year expansion roadmap. The city will be having a conversation over the next 2 years to discuss growth strategy. There will be discussions on the estimated cost of expanding the city's services, which will be most likely transposed into development costs. Designation and zoning will also be modified accordingly.
The last initiative is the revamping of the existing secondary suite program, including additional residential units in owner-occupied properties. A forgivable loan is considered with the following conditions. The maximum rent charged during the 5-year affordability term can be 90% of the average market rent or AMR, then the loan can be discharged.
The proposed incentives are first for detached ARUs as a forgivable loan, funding up to $40,000 per unit. Funding provided following the issuance of the occupancy permit, and the loan will be forgiven over 5 years if conditions are met.
The second one is for interior ARU as a forgivable loan, funding up to $25,000 per unit. Funding also provided following the issuance of the occupancy permit, and the loan will be forgiven over 5 years if the conditions are met.
The last one is accessible ARUs in the form of a grant in the amount of $5,000 per unit. The funding is provided following the issuance of the occupancy permit. However, no conditions are associated with the grant. The only requirement is that the unit meets accessibility criteria Ontario Building Code.
Right. These are a lot of great ideas with good intentions. So Martin, do you see any issues with this approach?
Well, yes, at first, the program is using the average market rent that CMHC reports annually based on occupied and unoccupied units in multifamily properties. It also includes long-term tenants rent, which is certainly not representative of secondary suites' current market rent. Also, if a tenant stays in the unit for the full 5 years, how are you supposed to increase the rent without creating financial issues for this tenant? Even if the rent is not controlled because the unit was created after such date in 2018. And you, Thomas, what do you think?
So the other issue I foresee is the fact that the city issues the grant only after the unit is built. The funds would need to be distributed upfront, not after the permit is issued.
It looks like the federal and the provincial governments are asking cities to mix the objectives of both affordable housing and the creation of additional units. I'll be curious to see if the incentives put forward will be attractive for property owners to leverage this program under this construct.
Another avenue could be to simply allow for more units to be created at the current market rent. A simple increase in inventory would, in the end, stabilize market rent, and money could be used to subsidize the rent for tenants.
We'll be following the development of the programs and keep you informed for sure. I'm curious to know if you, as homeowners, will apply for such programs and why.
And to our investor friends, what are your thoughts on the current proposals? Let us know in the comments below.